Girls, this is lesson 2 on algebraic fractions, and today what we're going to look at is solving equations with algebraic fractions. So I suppose the first note that you need to take down is when solving equations that contain fractions, we multiply both sides of the equation again, or we find the lowest common denominator, and this will help us eliminate all denominators. But firstly, I'm going to give you a quick review on solving algebraic equations in general, okay, just to kind of refresh your memory about those. Okay, so bringing you back to solving equations, right? So just do a few examples to review solving algebraic equations. So say if I said solve the following. And remember, whatever you do to the left-hand side, you must do to the right-hand side, the whole balancing method. So say just simply 2y is equal to 14. How do you solve for y? Remember, you divide by whatever is in front of the variable. In this case, it's 2. Whatever you do to one side, you must do to the other side. So we'll get y is equal to 14 divided by 2, which is 7. Grand. Let's do another one, b. So say if we have solve 7x minus 1 is equal to 20. So I will have, remember, whatever I do to one side, I must do to the other side. Now, I said to you another way of looking at it is, right, we always want to keep x's on the left-hand side. So I don't want this minus 1. How do I get rid of that minus 1? I plus 1. Whatever I do to one side, I must do to the other side. Or else another way of looking at it is, this minus 1 needs to move to the other side because my x's or my y's or whatever my variable is stays on the left-hand side. And my numbers or constants will stay on the right-hand side. So remember, if you bring that over to the other side, this is just an easier way of looking at it. So bring that over to the other side. Doesn't that change sign? So it was minus 1 on this side, so it becomes plus 1. So now you'll have 7x is equal to 21. Again, I'm solving for x. This is still 7x. So how do I solve for x? Divide by whatever number's in front of x. Divide by 7, divide by 7. So we have x then is equal to 21 divided by 7, which is equal to 3. Okay, let's look at another example. Where we have x's and y's on either side. Okay, so let me see, we'll say 10y plus 3 is equal to 7y. Okay, so what have we spotted here again? That, and I'll do the long way first of all, and then I'll do the short way, right? So my 10y is on the left hand side. I'm happy enough with that, but that plus 3 is there, right? So to get rid of a plus 3, I minus 3. And remember, whatever I do to one side, I must do to the other side. Okay, so that becomes 10y is still there. They'll cancel, and I'll just have is equal to 7y minus 3. Right, I'm happy with that minus 3 on that side because it's a constant, but I'm not happy with that 7y. So how will I get rid of that 7y? I will minus 7y. Remember that minus 3 is there already. So whatever you do to one side, you must do to the other side. So what's 10y minus 7y? It will be 3y. And they'll cancel. And you'll just get minus 3 then. Okay, how do you solve for y? You divide by 3 and you divide by 3. So we've y then is equal to minus 1 then, because minus 3 divided by, a minus divided by plus gives minus 3 divided by 3 is 1. Or you can just simply take it as, right? So we have 10y plus 3 is equal to 7y. Again, remember, as I said to you, whatever you do, think of it as keeping your variables. So anything that has a letter with it on the left-hand side of the equals, and anything that's just a constant or a number to the right-hand side. So this 10y is grand on this side, but that 3 needs to go. Okay, so firstly, remember, if it's a plus 3 on this side, what happens when it goes over to the other side? It's a minus 3. Okay, so 10y is equal to 7y minus 3. Again, this 7y is on this side. Now, what sign is in front of that 7? It's just not there, but really, there is a sign in front of it. It's a plus. So I want to bring this over here. So it changes sign. Once it crosses, it's like it jumps over the equals. Once it jumps over the equals, it changes sign. So that's minus 7y is equal to minus 3. It's gone from that side. So then you have your 3y then is equal to minus 3. Divide by 3 and divide by 3. So you see that it's the same way, or you get the same solution. It's just that it's a different it's a shorter procedure. Okay, but whatever way you work out, make sure to balance the method and make sure that you're keeping your variables on one side and your numbers on the other side. I'm going to do another example now where we have x's and numbers on either side. Okay, so say I have 9x plus 2. So again, we're solving the following. 9x plus 2 is equal to 2x plus 30. Okay, so again, I'll do it the short way again, right? So I'm happy with the 9x on this side, but I'm not happy with that plus 2. That needs to go to the other side. So we're getting rid of that plus 2. Remember, once it jumps over the equals, it becomes a minus 2. So we'll write down everything else on the right-hand side and minus 2. So let's just tidy that up then. We'll have 9x is equal to 2x plus 28. Okay? So then what we need to do is we need to get rid of... Okay, so we have 9x on this side, but we want to get rid of that 2x on this side. That needs to come over to the other side. So that 2x is plus 2x on this side. So when it crosses the equal sign, it changes sign, always jumps over, changes sign. So it becomes minus 2x. So it's gone from that side, and all we have is 28 on this side then. So 9x minus 2x is 7x is equal to 28. How do I solve for x? I divide by whatever number's in front of the letter, the variable. In this case, it's 7. Whatever you do to one side, you must do to the other side. So I've got x then is equal to 4. Okay? So that's a quick review of your solving equations from, say, first year, I suppose. You can kind of look at it like that. Okay, so introducing then to solving equations in algebraic fraction form, right? So I'm going to use this example here, except I'm going to do it myself because they do it a slightly different way, right, in the slide, but you can follow the slide as well. But basically what we're going to do is, right, so we're going to say solve. So this is getting into solving equations with algebraic fractions. Okay, so solve, say 2x plus 1 all over 3 is equal to 1 plus x all over 2. So the only real difference from the lesson 1 is that like you have an equals here. Okay, so we still do the same procedure because we can't do anything here, right? We have to kind of always put them into the same common denominator or lowest common denominator. So what's the lowest number or lowest common denominator that they'll both divide into? It's 6. So we do the same thing. 3 goes into 6 twice, and we're multiplying that 2 then by 2x plus 1. Put down the equals. Then 2 goes into 6. How many times? 3. So we've got 3 times 1 plus x. Now, a rule here is when there is an equals, or when it's an equation, if you look at it like that, we can get rid of the denominator. Okay, it just disappears because it's an equals. Okay, so that's rule. That rule is really important to take into account. So we're not going to be putting down the 6 now. We're literally going to be multiplying out the top and then solving it. So we'll have 2 times 2x plus 2 times 1 is equal to 3 times 1 plus 3 times x. So just take your time then. So we'll have 4x plus 2 is equal to 3 plus 3x. Okay, so let's look at what we have here then, right? That 4x, happy with it on the left-hand side. That plus 2 needs to go. Let's bring it over to the other side. So we'll have 4x then is equal to 3 minus 2 plus 3x. Okay, so that 3 is already there, so that still stays there. That 3x is already there, but we bring over the 2 and it becomes minus 2. So we'll just tidy that up then. 3x is equal to 4x is equal to 1 plus 3x. Need to get rid of that 3x. That needs to come over from the right-hand side to the left-hand side. It's a plus on this side, so what happens when you bring it over? Becomes a minus. And that 1 is there already as well. Okay, so we'll have 4x minus 3x, which is 1x, or just x if you look at it like that. X is equal to 1 then is my solution. I don't have anything like, you could divide by 1, but if you divide a number by 1, it just gives the number. Let's check my answer. Okay, let's check my solution. So we're saying x is equal to 1. All right, so let's take our original. So we'll have 2 times 1 plus 1 all over 3 is equal to 1 plus 1 all over 2. Okay, so that'll be 2 plus 1 all over 3 is equal to 2 all over 2. So what's 2 plus 1, which is going to be 3 all over 3, which is equal to 2 all over 2, which is equal to 1 is equal to 1, because 3 divided by 3 is 1, 2 divided by 2 is 1, so therefore correct solution. Okay, example 2 then. So I've got 3/5 y is equal to a half y minus 2. Okay, this looks really strange and hard, but it's actually not. Again, I'm just going to change this to 3y all over 5 is equal to y all over 2 minus 2. Now, how do you make this into a fraction? You put it over 1, okay? So that'll just make life easier. Right, again, I'm looking for my common denominator for 5, 2 and 1. 1 is a factor of every number, but 5 and 2, what's the lowest number they'll divide into? It's 10. So let's start with my normal procedure. 5 goes into 10 2 times. So 2 times 3y is equal to 2 goes into 10, 5. 5 times y minus, put down that minus sign, 1 goes into 10 times 2. Again, remember the rule, once you have an equal sign, you can get rid of the denominator, okay? So we'll multiply out, so this will become 6y is equal to 5y minus 20. Okay, have a look at what the setup is at the moment, right? I have 6y on this side, I'm happy enough that that's on that side, but I need to bring this over to the other side. So I've got 6y minus 5y, because it's a plus 5y on this side. Once it jumps over the equals, the change of sign is equal to minus 20. So 6y minus 5y is equal to 1y, so y is equal to minus 20 then. And that is your answer then for that, okay? So these are all solved the following on this page as well. So we have 5x minus 4 all over 7. And then we have plus 3x minus 1 all over 2 is equal to 10. Okay, looks kind of hard, but it's not. Okay, we'll just take our time here. Now, first thing I would do is write it out and put them all into fraction form. So how do I make any whole number into a fraction? Just put it over 1. Okay, let's look at our common denominator here. What's common to 7, 2 and 1 as a common denominator, a number that they'll all divide into? So the lowest one that they'll divide into is 14, isn't it? And sometimes, as I said, multiply 7 by 2 will give me 14. So 7 goes into 14 twice. So 2 times 5x minus 4. Plus then 2 goes into 14 7 times. So 7 times 3x minus 1 equals 1 goes into 14 times 10. Again, because I have the equals, I can eliminate or just drop the denominator. Okay, let's multiply out the top line. So we'll have 2 times 5x plus 2 times minus 4 plus 7 times 3x plus 7 times minus 1 is equal to 14 times 10. Okay, let's multiply out everything. So I'll have 10x, I'll have minus 8, I'll have plus 21x, and I'll have minus 7 is equal to 14 times 10 is 140. Right, let's tidy this side up then. Just collect our like terms to make it a little bit more simplified so it'll be easy to work out then. So 31x and then minus 15 is equal to 140. So let's look at the setup. I'm happy with that 31x. That'll stay on this side, okay? But I'm not happy that minus 15. So what happens to minus 15 when it jumps over the equals to the other side? It's plus 15, isn't it? So equals to 140 plus 15. So I'll have 31x is equal to, what's 140 plus 15 is 155. Is that right? Yeah. Okay, whatever I do to one side, I need to solve for x. So I'm dividing by 31 and dividing by 31. Always divide by whatever's in front of the x, or the y, or the a, or the b. Now, on your calculator then, if you're unsure, which I'm a little bit unsure, but I think could be 5, 155 divided by 31 is equal to 5. So x then is equal to 5 for that one. And I'm going to do one more example then. Okay, so this is another one that looks kind of hard, but again, what I'll do is put them all in fraction format. Yes, this is a mixed fraction, so let's put it into a top-heavy fraction, which you know how to do from first year. So let's set it up. Okay, so turn this into a top-heavy fraction. We say 2 times 2 is 4 and 1 is 5, so that's 5 over 2 then. Okay, so let's get the common denominator. Let's get the common factor or the common number that they'll all divide into. So let's check out the three numbers. We've got 8, we've got 3, we've got 2. Right, so 8 times 2 is 16. Would 3 divide in 16? No, it won't. 8 times 3 is 24. Will 2 divide in? I think that's the lowest number, so let's put down 24. Okay, that's our lowest common denominator. So 8 goes into 24 3 times, and we'll have 3 times 3x minus 1. Okay, 3 goes into 24. Excuse me, that should be a minus sign because there's a minus sign there already. Here's my tip x. Oh my god. Sorry now. So that is a minus sign that goes there. So we'll put that, leave that as the minus. So minus goes there. So we've got 3 goes into 24 8 times, and 8 times 4x minus 5 is equal to 2 goes into 24 12 times, 12 times 5. Now again, we can get rid of what's underneath the line. So let's multiply out the top line. So we'll have 3 times 3x plus 3 times minus 1. Now I'm doing the long way of doing it, but if you're able to multiply these out yourself, and just, normally in your head, that's fine as well, okay? Once you do it correctly and carefully. Minus 8 times 4x minus 8 times minus 5 is equal to 12 times 5. Isn't that going to be 60 then? So we can multiply that out straight away. Think of your 5 times tables. So let's multiply this out. We'll have 3 times 3x, which is 9x. 3 times minus 1, which is minus 3. So be careful with your signs. That's one thing that's letting a lot of you down. You're not thinking this is a plus times a minus. And they're multiplied, right? They're not added. Then we've minus 32x, because minus times a plus gives a minus. And we've minus times a minus. So minus 8 minus 5 is plus 40. It's equal to 60. So let's tidy up this side again. So we've 9x minus 32x, which is going to be minus 23x. Yeah. And then we've minus 3 plus 40, or 40 minus 3, which is going to be plus 37, is equal to 60. Okay, I'm happy with this minus 23x on this side, but I'm not happy with that plus 37. So that's going to jump over the equal sign, but also change signs then. So we'll have 60, bring that over, minus 37. So it's going to be minus 23x is equal to 23, isn't it? And then we'll divide by whatever's in front of the x. So whatever you do to one side, you must do to the other side. Remember, it's a minus this time because it's minus 23x. So minus 23 divided by minus 23 will give me x. A plus divided by minus will give me a minus. And 23 divided by 23 is 1. And that is your 4 examples on solving equations involving algebraic fractions. Now, you don't necessarily have to take down the revision ones, the review, the review ones if you don't want to. You can if you want, or just look at them. But I'd like you to take down the 4 examples specifically under solving equations with algebraic fractions. And I'm going to give you a few examples or a few questions then to try on those. And it'll be actually out of a different book, so I'll screenshot them. Okay?